A Walton County man in jail today after he was accused of shooting and killing his wife and daughter.
So it happened about an hour southeast of the city of Atlanta on Gauntt Road. That's off of Cornish Mountain Church Road. This happened Wednesday night. 11 Alive's Chase Howell spent the day there and talked to the family.
The Mincey family tells me they watched true crime documentaries but never thought they'd end up living one. Outside of this home is where family members say Ralph Mincey shot both his wife Jennifer and his daughter Amanda in the head before calling the police on himself. So how did we get here? Well, according to the family member I spoke with, there was a fight between Amanda and her dad, and at some point Jennifer stepped in to intervene. After that is when Ralph allegedly shot and killed them both. That family member also tells me that the three of them were not the only ones at the home when the killings happened. I'm told that Ralph's mother was also there, who has dementia.
A man. A home on Gauntt Road. 2 women shot. 1 dead at the scene. 1 rushed to Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta, fighting for her life. She didn't make it either. And the man who allegedly pulled that trigger? He was still there when deputies arrived. Standing right there. At 4538 Gauntt Road in Jersey, Georgia. He shares a last name with both of his victims. Stay right there, because this case is 3 hours old, and what we already know is devastating. Welcome to 0 Hour Crimes TV. This story broke this morning. Walton County, Georgia. And I need you to hear every single detail because the Mincey family of Jersey, Georgia deserves that. Right now. Tonight. Let's go. First, I need to tell you where this happened. Because where matters in this case. Jersey, Georgia. Not Atlanta. Not a big city with strangers passing each other on the street. Jersey is a small community, the kind of place where everybody knows everybody. The kind of place where your neighbors remember your name, your parents' names, and your grandparents' names. It sits in Walton County, about 40 miles east of Atlanta, just outside of Loganville. A county of farms and family homes and roads with names like Gauntt Road, where this all happened Wednesday evening. The Walton County Sheriff's Office has been the primary responding agency. And here's the quote from WCSO Public Information Officer Major Scott Whisnant that every outlet from WSB-TV Channel 2 Atlanta to Fox 5 Atlanta to Atlanta News First to the Walton Tribune has been running all morning. He said, "We are saddened by this senseless loss of life." Senseless. That is the word Major Whisnant chose. And when a law enforcement officer, a man whose job is to deal with violence professionally, uses the word senseless, you pay attention, because it means even the people who respond to the worst things humanity does to itself could not make sense of what they walked into on Gauntt Road Wednesday night. Now, before we go any further, I need to stop and talk about who we lost. Because in breaking news cycles, victims become names. Names become statistics. And statistics don't have faces or voices, or people who love them. Not on this channel. Not tonight. Jennifer Lynn Mincey. Jennifer Lynn Mincey was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta, one of the busiest Level 1 trauma centers in the entire Southeast, where she later succumbed to her injuries. She did not die at the scene. She fought. She was alive when deputies found her. She was alive when medics loaded her into that ambulance. She held on long enough to make it to Grady. And then she was gone. Public records confirm that Jennifer Lynn Mincey had known addresses in Oxford, Georgia, and Loganville, Georgia, both in Walton County. She is listed as a relative of Ralph Mincey and Amanda McBrayer, meaning all 3 individuals in this case were connected by family ties. Amanda Mincey McBrayer. Amanda Mincey McBrayer was pronounced dead at the scene on Gauntt Road. She didn't make it out of that house. Whatever happened Wednesday evening inside that home, Amanda did not survive it long enough for medics to even try. The Mincey family is well known in Walton County, especially in Jersey, which is a very small community, and expressions of condolences have sprung up all over social media within hours of the news breaking. Think about that. Hours. This story broke this morning, and by this afternoon, the community of Jersey, Georgia was already pouring grief onto Facebook, onto community pages, onto neighborhood groups, because they knew these women. They knew this family. This was not an abstract tragedy happening somewhere far away. This was their community, their people, their neighbors. Real quick, if you are new to 0 Hour Crimes TV, this is what we do. We cover cases like this one the day they happen. We don't wait for the algorithm. We don't wait for the case to go cold. We show up when it matters.
Hit subscribe.
Hit the bell. Because we are following this Mincey case every single step of the way, from this morning's breaking news, all the way through to whatever happens in that Walton County courtroom. Now, let's keep going. Let me walk you through exactly what we know happened, minute by minute, based on confirmed reporting from WSB-TV Channel 2 Atlanta, Fox 5 Atlanta, Atlanta News First, and the Walton County Sheriff's Office official statement. Wednesday evening, June the 25th, 2026. At some point during the evening hours, shots were fired inside the home at 4538 Gauntt Road in Jersey, unincorporated Walton County, Georgia. The Walton County Sheriff's Office responded to persons shot at 4538 Gauntt Road. When deputies arrived, they found 2 women with gunshot injuries inside the residence. Mincey McBrayer was pronounced dead at the scene. Jennifer Mincey was transported to Grady Memorial Hospital, where she later died from her injuries. Edward Mincey was immediately taken into custody at the scene. He was there. He was taken into custody on the spot. Deputies haven't commented on what led to the incident. And that, right there, is the most haunting part of this entire story as it stands right now. We do not know what triggered this. We do not know if there had been prior domestic violence calls to that address. We do not know if there had been arguments, threats, protection orders. We do not know if this came out of nowhere on a Wednesday evening, or if it had been building for months or years inside that house on Gauntt Road. Those answers will come. But right now, they are not here. And Jennifer and Amanda's family is sitting with that same void tonight. Before we go further, hit that like button.
Right now.
This case broke today. Jennifer and Amanda deserve to have their story reach as many people as possible from the very first day. Hit like, and let's keep going. I want to stay here for a moment, on the community, because Jersey, Georgia is not a place that appears in national headlines very often. It is a small, tight-knit community in Walton County where the Mincey family is, by all accounts, well known. Well-rooted. The Mincey family is well known in Walton County, especially in Jersey, which is a very small community, and expressions of condolences have sprung up all over social media. Social media in a small Georgia town moves fast when something like this happens. By the time the morning news crews were pulling up to Walton County, the people of Jersey already knew. The Facebook posts were already going up. The condolences were already pouring in. The shock was already spreading through every family, every church congregation, every neighbor who had ever waved at Jennifer or Amanda coming home from work. That is what domestic violence does to a small community. It doesn't just take 2 lives. It fractures an entire network of people who loved those lives. It leaves a hole in the fabric of a town that may take years or decades to close. And it leaves the people who are left behind with a particular and devastating grief because the person who allegedly did this was also someone they knew. Someone who carried the same name. Someone who sat at the same tables and walked the same roads and was part of the same family story. How do you grieve that? How does Jersey, Georgia hold all of that at the same time? I don't have an easy answer. And I don't think anyone does tonight. Now I need to zoom out, because this case does not exist in a vacuum. Jennifer Lynn Mincey and Amanda Mincey McBrayer were shot on June the 25th, 2026. On June the 19th, Breena Hartree, 31 years old and 33 weeks pregnant, was allegedly shot and killed by her boyfriend Jawan Taylor in Milledgeville, Georgia, 1 hour south of Walton County. 1 week before this case, 2 suspected domestic violence double fatalities in the state of Georgia in 1 week. And Georgia is not an outlier. This is happening across the country. In Florida, in Ohio, in Michigan, in California, in Iowa, in Pennsylvania. Week after week, month after month, women are being killed by the people who are supposed to love them inside the homes where they are supposed to be safe. The Georgia Commission on Family Violence has been tracking this crisis for years. Walton County has appeared in their domestic violence news watch reports before. And Major Scott Whisnant of the WCSO, the man who gave the official statement on this case, used one word to describe what his deputies found on Gauntt Road Wednesday evening. senseless. But here is what advocates will tell you, what researchers will tell you, what the data will tell you if you read it carefully enough. It is not senseless. It follows a pattern. Domestic violence homicides, family violence homicides, almost always have a history behind them. Escalating arguments, prior incidents that went unreported, warning signs that neighbors noticed but didn't know what to do with. A family member who said privately, something is wrong in that house, but never found the right door to knock on. We do not yet know if that history exists in the Mincey case. The investigation has been open for less than 12 hours. But the question has to be asked. It has to be asked every time. Because if there were signs, and those signs were missed, then Jennifer and Amanda deserved better from every system that should have caught this. If you want to stay up to date on every development in this case, subscribe to 0 Hour Crimes TV right now. We're going to follow the Ralph Edward Mincey case from today's arrest all the way through arraignment, indictment, and trial. Every update, every detail. Hit subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a development. Here is where things stand legally as of tonight, June the 25th, 2026. Ralph Edward Mincey faces 2 counts of murder and 1 count of possession of a knife or gun during the commission of a crime. Ralph Edward Mincey remains in custody and has been charged with murder and multiple additional charges. He is being held in the Walton County Jail. His first court appearance, a probable cause hearing, will take place within 72 hours of his arrest under Georgia law. At that hearing, a judge will review the charges, determine whether probable cause exists to hold him, and address the question of bond. Given the severity of the charges, 2 counts of murder, bond is unlikely to be granted. In Georgia, murder charges carry a presumption of detention. After that, the Walton County District Attorney's Office, led by District Attorney Randy McGinley, will review the full case file from the Sheriff's Office and determine how to formally prosecute. The DA's office can choose to present the case to a grand jury for indictment, which is the standard path for murder cases in Georgia. The investigation itself is still very much ongoing. Deputies haven't commented on what led to the incident. That means investigators are still working to establish the full picture, the timeline, the motive, the sequence of events inside that house on Gauntt Road Wednesday evening. What we know for certain is this. 2 women are dead. A man who shared their name and their home is in custody. And a small community in Walton County, Georgia, is trying to figure out how to wake up tomorrow morning and make sense of a Wednesday evening that changed everything. Before I let you go tonight, I want to say their names one more time. Jennifer Lynn Mincey, Amanda Mincey McBrayer, 2 women from Jersey, Georgia, from a family that is known and loved in their community. Women who deserved to see Thursday morning. Women who deserve to answer their phones and check their messages and make their coffee and live their lives. This case is brand new. The investigation is hours old. There are more questions right now than there are answers. And 0 Hour Crimes TV is going to be here for every answer as it comes. If you know anything about this case, about the Mincey family, about what happened on Gauntt Road Wednesday evening, the Walton County Sheriff's Office is asking the public for information. You can reach them directly through their official channels. And if you are in a relationship or a home situation that scares you right now, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. 1-800-799-7233.
Free.
Confidential. Available right now. Tonight, at any hour. Drop in the comments, what questions do you have about this case? What do you want me to dig into as more details emerge? Like this video. Share it in your community. And subscribe to 0 Hour Crimes TV, because we don't wait for cases to go cold before we tell the story. Say their names. Jennifer. Amanda. This is 0 Hour Crimes TV. We show up at 0 hour. Every time.